Hey everyone, welcome back to BDG Reviews. It's night 25 of the 31 Days of Horror. We're coming along to the end pretty quickly, just 6 more days, but you know, is what it is, right? So what I got for you tonight is one of my favorite movies. You've read the title. You know exactly what it is. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. I thoroughly love this movie. I don't even need to tell you the plot, because if you haven't seen this by now, I don't know what to say. Bud Abbott and Luke Costello meet Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman, and hijinks ensue. What makes this work is, this is the definition, I think, of a comedy horror. I've said before, there's a difference between horror comedies and comedy horror. And it's taken me a while to really get like a proper definition, but I think I've got it now. A horror comedy is a horror movie with comedic elements. The horror is taken seriously, and the humor is its own thing, which happens like beside the horror, okay? A comedy horror is a comedy movie that has some spooky type elements to it. So, as a result, like in a horror comedy, you know, the monster would never, do something that's overly funny or anything. The horror side of it would be serious. Comedy horror, they're allowed to be a bit goofy. Like in this, you got a whole scene where, like, is it Abbott, right? Yeah, Bud Abbott, he's, like, kind of, like, not possessed, but he's, like hypnotized or whatever, and the Frankenstein's monster gets up, and it sees him and it's like, oh! And Dracula's like, don't be afraid of him. He won't hurt you. And there's a whole scene where the Wolfman is chasing Luke Costello, and he's, like, tripping over things, and he's getting stuck behind things and everything. For comedy horror, that's perfectly fine. In a horror comedy, not so much. But this is comedy horror done right. Even though it has those moments, it never makes fun, really, of the monsters, so to speak. They have their, the how can I put this? Dracula basically wants, like, an unkillable servant. So he wants, like, Frankenstein's monster with, like, a much more, manipulatable brain in him. So he wants that. The Wolfman is after Frankenstein and Dracula. He just plain wants to kill him. So they keep a level of seriousness, even though there is the humor aspect to it. But it's just a perfect film. If you have never seen this, do yourself a favor. This is humor that anyone can get. It doesn't matter if you're, like, 13 years old or if you're, like, 97 years old. You'll get the humor in this. It's not... Little story. Back in the 90s, when the movie Napoleon Dynamite came out, I heard everyone raving about it, like, oh, it's, like, so funny and everything. So I saw it. I didn't think it was funny. There was a few scenes that gave me a bit of a chuckle, but it was just kind of meh to me. When you look at older humor from back, like, in, like, this was, what year was this? I think this was 48, yeah. Like, Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello, stuff like that. It's funny. You don't need, like, a PhD in irony or anything. You just need to just have a good time and enjoy it. And that's all this movie is. It's just pure entertainment and fun. For rating, this is 10 out of 10. It's a perfect comedy horror. Yeah, so good. I know there are some other ones. I know there's like Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. I've done a review on that. Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man. Abbott and Costello meets the Killer, Boris Karloff, I think it's called. You know, I've only seen a couple of them, but I enjoy them all. But none really live up to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is perfect. So yeah, there you go. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. If you haven't seen it, buy it. I'm not even going to say stream it. Just buy a copy. You can get it cheap enough. And just have a blast. So yeah, that's it for me. See you tomorrow.